Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, Rafa Esparza. We are here for the prelims. We weren't here for the first fights because there's 15. Y'all can live. We can take a few of these moments off. However, we're glad to be joining you right now. Yes, we are live, Best Coast time, 4:41, all of that good jazz. I'm so stoked to be having you. I'm so stoked to be talking to you. I'm so stoked for a number of things. So feel free to go ahead and give us your comments, your concerns, your allegations, all of that good jazz. I will be doing a fight companion this evening. We'll also be joined by our good friend Sven from Strength and Mobility coming in a little bit later. But if we're talking about the action that is happening in front of us right this second, Tim Elliott is kind of putting it on Espinoza. And I see a note here from Joffrey that says, Raf, good to see you. Thank you so much. Good to see you too, Joffrey. Hope you're having a good way and a good day. I said those two things out loud at the exact same time. Anyway, here's what I'm going to tell you guys. We obviously have this setup. We're about to go live on our Instagram to be joined by some friends. I'll tell you what I'm drinking here in just a second. I just want to make sure we get all situated. Big shout outs to our friend over at Hop Merchants. Hop Merchants supplying tonight's beverages. Could not be more pleased that they're helping us. They reached the end of what I believe could be the very first round. And it's been interesting. We had about 15 fights going into this week. And guess what? 15 came through. So that is very weird. Nobody caught COVID. Nobody came in. No, wait. I think Benavidez might have come in fat. Either way, the MMA gods were on our side this go round. So I'm very pleased about that. I'm also going to go ahead and get this situated so that we can go live on the air. But we're going to cut a quick promo to let people know that is what we are doing. So bear with me as we do this. But yes, it is great to see you guys. And how do you get toasted just like we do the fighters that get regulation? Very simple. All you have to do is give us a like and a share on Facebook, and we give you a toast just like we do those fighters who get finishes within regulation. Can't say that enough because we want to make sure that you know what's going on. We'll also, I believe, be joined this evening a little bit later by our good friend Dan Hubler. I'm going to send him a reminder, but yes, Dan is always hard at work making sure that we have accurate, if not stellar, fight predictions and notations. So we'll give him a note to let him know that we are on air currently. And then, it's kind of business as usual here. It's going to be a lot of really fun things to see. And I do see next week the Naciones is going to have their very first event toplined by our good pal, one Eric Ghostpepper Gonzalez. So stoked for that guy. He is one of our favorites. Anyway, that's what we got. I did get a couple notes from y'all asking if we were doing something today because there were some fights that started before, earlier today. They started at 2:15 p.m. And not that I don't love you guys, but, I could take a few off, right? Meanwhile, back on the stage on the octagon, Elliott continuing with dominance just on the ground. He has not only gotten these takedowns at will, but he has seemed to do them fairly effortlessly. So I have been told also by Dan that he was going with supreme underdogs tonight. Not exactly sure what that means, but we will have those things to go off of this evening. So that's where we're at right now. Hit me with your comments, your questions, your concerns, your hopes, some of your dreams. And right now, Elliott trying to go ahead and pass. In fact, he's in that nice half guard where all he wants to do is just stay there and start raining in some elbows. And at certain points, it does look like you see that Elliott is almost dragging him over and sort of suggesting that he go over to where the cage is. So nice ring positioning or octagon positioning in that particular case. So if it sounds like anything is happening on my side, it is because I have switched the earbuds over to the Instagram page, which means we're about to gain some new friends in the comment section. If you guys have anything that you'd like to hear answers to, I'm sure you've got some questions about some things that have gone on, in particular this week in the jiu-jitsu community. I understand. Been there. We've talked a little bit about it. Myself and Kevin did an emergency episode of the show yesterday, so we're more than aware that you definitely wanted to talk about a few things that have been going on in that realm. But I think you guys will enjoy it. Go check that out on the Verbal Tap YouTube page. That is where you can find our latest nonsense. So we're going to do a quick story. You'll see me cut a quick promo as we watch Tim Elliott just continue to do excellent grappling and positional work right over here. So this is to our friends over on the Instagram. Hey, what's up, everybody? Is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza. We are doing a fight companion for tonight. We have a special guest that's coming for the main card, but right now we are live on all at Grappling Hour properties and even going live on our Verbal Tap Instagram. Come through. And that, my friends, is one take. So we are all set, which means we are now ready to go on the Instagram Live, say hi to some friends, keep things going because, again, we still have 10 more fights? 9? Somewhere in that region. So there's still a lot of fight companionry left to do. UFC 259 prelims. And that's where we're at. Add title. And here we go. Elliott smothering, essentially, Espinoza up against Case. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza. We're here for the UFC 259 prelims. I hope you're excited. I'm excited. 3 championship fights in the main card. So that's going to be super fun. Hit me with your questions, your comments, and your concerns, hints, allegations, as you are seeing Elliott kind of just manhandle Espinoza here. I think Espinoza is exhausted. What's up, Frankie? What's up, Paige Van? I think that's what it is. All right, I'm not going to say that one. Think we are good without that name. But Elliott working very hard to try and positionally beat the shit out of Espinoza, who looks like he is now fending off what could be the early parts of a twister. Strength mobility. I see my good friend there showing up. I'm going to actually send him his notes so that he can come join us a little bit later. But before I forget, I want to make sure he has the invitation to come see us a little bit later. But yes, our pal, Sven from Strength and Mobility, will be coming through. Look at this! Got both of the Strength and Mobility guys. That's how you know things are pretty tight. If you guys like good workouts, not just for your own benefit, maybe even for others, go check them out. What's up, Ghost Pepper? I was just saying, you fight next week. Cannot wait to see you fight there, my friend. Very much going to be looking at that one. That's actually going to be live on Facebook. So if you're looking for a good fight, go see that one coming up next week. But yes, Sven will be coming in a little bit later, saying hello to us, holding it down. Ghost Pepper saying, what up, brother? Oh, my friend. It is. It says right here, what time is it on the fight? I just want to see if my stream is up to date. That is the question I have at hand here. Let me see. The fight is going to be on at 7 p.m. Best Coast time, but currently we are on Elliott versus Espinoza. This is round number 3. So, just in case, a very nice feature. Don't really get to mess with that too much on the Q&A. But, yeah, that's a fancy new feature that I don't really get to fuck with too much. I didn't know we can turn this into a Q&A. Y'all can ask your questions like that. What's up, Drain Daddy? Good to see you, my man. But yes, Sven joining us a little bit later. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. I promise you, it is going to be great. It says, mine's late. Ugh. That's not great. So, just as a heads up, when my good friend, Senor Dan Hubler comes on, we'll take a short break. We'll come back for the rest of this. But Dan has to give us a nice little update. So, we are currently broadcasting at Grappling Hour. What is up, Kevin? Good to see you, my friend. We are currently broadcasting on Grappling Hour on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, which I don't really even fuck with that much, but sure, and Periscope. Meanwhile, what's up, Gustavo? Much love to you, bro. This is a monster card. What fight are you guys most excited to see tonight? Are you the most excited to see Israel Adesanya chasing another division title? Are you more excited to see Amanda Nunes now using her mom power? That's an actual storyline they've been going with, by the way. I'm not lying. They've literally said that she has become more powerful, an even more powerful lioness now that she's a mom. because they have no idea how to tell a female story. All right, I see a note here that says Dan is calling me on the main broadcast. So this is just a check-in here for y'all on Instagram. If you want to see Dan give some fight picks and talk about that, come visit us at Grappling Hour. We'll be back for a little bit, and then tonight we're going to have our good friend Sven from Strength Mobility checking in with us. We'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. At this point, our good friend, one Senor Dan Hubler, is coming in to give you a little bit of what you need to be betting on.
Bitch better have my money. Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you owe me. Bitch better have my money.
Ladies and gents, it's time to say hello to your friend and mine, one Senor Dan Hubler. Let me go ahead and get you on in right now. Dan, how are you doing this evening?
Well, if you took a look at the screenshot I just sent you, I'm doing fucking exceptional. That's how I'm doing right now. Everything is looking up. So couldn't be better.
I want to go ahead and bring this up. Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can plug this for you, because I like the fact that Dan doesn't just show up as somebody who's a guest without doing their proper homework. When Dan shows up, there's a lot of communication on his side to let me know, hey, here's what's going on. Here's something you should know. I got this photo that I'm just going to plug on here, and excuse me for the improper way it's going to look on formatting, because that's how soon I got this. But Dan sent me this photo, and I can't help but point out the, I don't want to say improbability of it, but the statistical accuracy of it is something to behold. So Dan, tell me, what am I looking at here? Because that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, what you're looking at right now is the $3, actually $2.94 that I bet the other day. One of the things I like to do, usually like a couple days before the fights, is I will literally sit down and I will visualize how I think each fight is going to go. Now, obviously, there's probable outcomes and improbable outcomes, and I try and pick the outcome I think is most likely. Now, not that doesn't mean it's going to be the best value. That doesn't mean it's worth betting on. But I think about what's most likely to happen, and then I make parlays around that. And then after I've done my analysis and after I've looked up every single fight on, Fight Pass, and I've watched all of their history and all that kind of stuff, then I start, looking for value in different bets and looking for different lines. But these $3 worth of bets were made based on who I just, what I thought was the most probable outcome. And so far, we have been shocked by some outcomes, but they're outcomes that I predicted. Kennedy won his fight. He got the knockout in the second round. That was amazing. He was a massive underdog. If you look at him on my parlay, I can't even see what I got him at. 260 something like that. I don't even know. I got him at ridiculous odds. If you look at that first parlay at the top, you see all those plus mark, all those plus symbols mean that I'm getting incredibly great value. And so, what it's looking like right now, because it looks like Elliott's about to sweep this on the scorecards, is that I am now, 6-0, 7-0?
Wow.
Off on a great start. And to the point where I haven't done it all the way yet. I'm not all the way in, but I've already started betting against myself. Throw $100 on the other guy. Guarantee me something, because I'm looking at, if this works out, then these $3 could easily turn into like 120 grand. So
yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to. Excuse me, it's going to go over. It'll definitely be my
biggest win.
I'm going over both of our faces here, but with good reason. So I understand this looks like a crazy person has taken over, but walk me through this. So I see one of the probabilities here is the possibility of winning how much? $78,000 off of one.
Yeah.
And
this is obviously, a huge win. This type of win doesn't happen very often. And usually, part of the reason I love MMA is it's so unpredictable, right? So very rarely does the most likely outcome happen. I mean, we saw that with Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis, right? The most likely outcome is he's going to wrestle him the whole fight. He's going to take him down. And then all of a sudden, fucking uppercut from hell. So usually this doesn't happen, but it's happening right now. And it's very fun. Obviously, even if I lose, best $3 I've ever spent.
You know what? It's still fun as fuck because I looked at that and as I was about to go on air, I just kind of was wondering. I was like, okay, well, I need to shoot him a moment, a quick thing. And then as I saw how things were kind of playing out, I go, I think Dan's actually in a pretty good position without us even starting tonight. Then you send me that photo and I go, well, someone's going to be very excited to be on this show. So
yeah,
we're very stoked about that. Let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and switch us to the other camera format here. And apologies to everybody tuning in who wants to see this look a certain way. We're going to do our best to make sure it does. But there we go. All right, there's Dan, who slid into place. So now as I go on over to Dan's solo, I got to replace the proper betting logo. So bear with me. If it says the wrong event, just know, shut up. It's a free show. Also, we can always blame it on our technician who's not here. And that technician is, I guess, probably.
Yeah.
Me.
While you're doing that, Elliot did just take the win. I had Elliot, and I didn't just have Elliot money line. I took Elliot minus 3.5 points, which is kind of a risk. You know, he's got to win a very dominant decision, and he obviously swept the scorecards, and one judge gave him 30-25. So that's a very clear dominant win. That points line was actually plus 185. So no one really thought you should be giving up points against Elliot, but against Espinoza. But I thought, you know, if you could get him on the ground, he could rack up time. And if you rack up time, you can rack up points. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, let's see what happens here when I press this button.
That's last week. That's you're reminding me of the crushing Blades loss. I thought that Blades was a lock of all locks. Obviously, there's no lock in MMA. It's a fist fight. But that fight, I was like, this is just going to be a wrestling clinic for 25 minutes. And then all of a sudden, you know, but that's, again, the reason why we like the sport.
Of course. Give me a second to pull on the right bracket here. That's what I was trying to give you because I was like, when you send me these things, I have to reformat them to fit like a real person size because otherwise it just goes in like a giant thing. I don't know when they changed this software, but it seems that anytime you drag it in, it decides to make it like Godzilla size. This is a normal person size. Walk us through what we're seeing.
That's kind of my fault. That's my fault because, you know, I'm so used to with the graphic design stuff, everything is minimum 10 inches by 10 inches, any low resolution, anything. So I send you all the super huge files. So
well, you send it to us in super good resolution, and I don't hate super good resolution. I just hate the fact that when I press this thing, I'm like, motherfucker, work. Anyway, walk us through it, Dan.
Yeah, so I guess we can kind of go back to what I was saying before. You know, when I make my parlays, I think about the most probable outcome. I pick the, you know, what I think is most likely to happen. And then after I do that, I look for value. One of the things I looked for tonight was underdog value. And I thought Souza was a pretty decent dog. You know, at plus 186, I thought she was the more proven commodity. You know, she mixes up her takedowns and her striking is a little bit wild, obviously, but she mixes it up well. I thought having her at the underdog was a mistake. As you can see by my parlays, I did pick Lemos to win, but I thought that it was worth taking a bet. It was worth taking a flyer on Souza. And, you know, that didn't play out. She did get TKO'd, so, you know, that's already a loss. But we do have another fight coming up right now, and Phillips is actually someone I have as a solo bet and also on my parlay. I'm taking Phillips scorecards, no action. The reason for that is because he's fighting Song, and Song just finds some way to get gifted every fucking judge's decision of all time. Song should probably be on a 2-fight losing streak. I thought Chito Vera put on a pretty great performance against him last outing, and I thought Chito did enough to get the nod. Obviously, it went to Song. And then in the fight right before that, when it went to a draw, I thought it was a pretty clear loss, you know, in that fight as well. But, you know, Song was able to eke out a draw and remain undefeated in the UFC. So the reason I'm taking scorecards no action is obviously Song has a round winning style. He does enough to get the judges on his side, even if, you know, us from home sitting on our couches not doing anything think that he's losing the fight. He does enough to influence the judges. So scorecards no action is partly because of that. I'm a little bit worried that, you know, he'll eke out another controversial one. But I think Phillips is the hotter prospect, to be honest. A lot of people are hyping up Song as the next big thing out of China, but there's a lot to like about Phillips so far. You know, his stand-up has looked great. His jiu-jitsu has looked great. Obviously, you know, he has a very marketable look to him. He looks like fucking like Jesus, but with a 6-pack. Like he's good on the microphone. I think that, you know, he could have a very bright future. So I'm I'm taking Phillips as the underdog, slight underdog, with, again, the caveat that if it goes to the judges' scorecards, all bets are off. Song, I don't know if he has an uncle on the commission or what, but he wins every fucking decision. So that's why we're going scorecards, no action, but we're still getting good value with the plus 155 line.
I want to come back in for this one because Sterling has been... It's been hard for me to go ahead and give him the nod. And I don't know how you feel about these things. I know we chat a little bit about what it's like to look at press row and then weigh-in days, and that shouldn't necessarily factor too much in. Mm-hmm. But I thought that his energy yesterday, especially given what looked like Peter Yan maybe saying some racist comments as our fans guessed, it just looked weird on more his part, just from his body language.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, analysis is part of, like, picking a fight, making a bet. But, I mean, at some point, you can't think about it too much. You start overthinking things. You start creating problems that don't even exist. And I feel like with the Yan fight and the Sterling fight, it is a coin flip of a fight. I mean, the lines indicate that. It's super close. You know, Sterling is a slight underdog. But I feel like in a coin flip of a fight, why would you not take the wrestler? Why would you not take the guy who has more of an ability to dictate where the fight's going to take place? If one guy has a superior wrestling and it's a coin flip of a fight, you take that fucking guy. So, you know, Sterling might get starched. You know, Yan might, start slow like he always does and then pick it up around round 3, round 4, look for a TKO. He might win, but it's still a good bet. It's still a good bet to take the wrestler in a fight that's dead even and you got the wrestler as a slight underdog, take it. I mean, it's always a good bet.
Fair enough. But as a fan, though, what excites you about that fight in particular?
I mean, I think it's kind of like closure. You know what I mean? Like, we've been saying Aljo's the next champ for how many years now? You know, the cover of Sports Illustrated, all the free agency hype, all of these conversations about this guy's next. And, he's had some setbacks. But his fight-to-fight improvements are there. He's growing. He's looking very much like the champion we thought he might one day become. And so to see him get it done today would be big. It'd be a great story to tell. He is obviously, once again, a very marketable fighter. He could be a great champion for the UFC, a great spokesperson for MMA in general. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Truthfully, I mean, Yan he's a bulldozer. He's got a great style, but he sucks on the mic. He's not very charismatic. He's not someone that you're dying to get an interview with. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter, but I would stop just short of saying he's a bad champion, just because he's not that person they want the belt around. You know what I mean? They would much rather see this around Aljo's waist.
That's fair. All right. That took me through a little bit of a journey in terms of, man, do we want him as champion? Do we feel bad about it? Because, I like him in the octagon, but I never look him up. I never look to see what he's doing. I don't care. It's just like he doesn't exist to me for 3 to 6 months at a time until I see him back here. So it wasn't until this week that I go, what has Peter Yan been up to? I don't remember. I don't know what's going on.
And this isn't like a dig at him, for being a bilingual person. But, obviously when the champion isn't fluent speaking English or not comfortable speaking English, they're just not going to have the same draw. You know what I mean? They're just not going to have the same support from the UFC fan base as someone else, So I think that's definitely holding him back a little bit in terms of his marketability. But, I mean, his obviously his hands are great, but it only gets you so far. I mean, look at Demetrius Johnson. Great. I mean, I thought Demetrius was a very marketable guy, but people just didn't give a fuck, man. Like, no one watched his fights. It wasn't something that people were excited about. And I feel like Yan is in the same boat.
Well, Demetrius also would give you that look like, what more do you want? And people would go, fight finishes. Yeah. And I felt like in the second half of his UFC career, that's when I started to come around. Because I would always think, I just can't get into him. It's not his fault, I don't think. And then when he just owned his, this is what I do, I'm going to play some video games, fuck you guys. I go, that was the guy. Like, I know you can't just be that guy without being provoked, but man, do I want to see you fight now all the time. And then when you see a guy throw an armbar with just a few seconds left to go in a 5-rounder, you think, yeah, he could coast, but he is trying. Good for him. So, Dan, I see the last notation here for the main fight. what can you tell us about this last pick that you have here?
Okay, this last pick, I know it looks stupid. And I know a lot of people are just like, Nunez is the GOAT. Yes, she is. Of course she is. What's the most likely outcome? Well, Nunez is probably going to starch Anderson. I mean, if she can get her down on the ground, she's going to pick up an early TKO or she's going to pick up a submission. I mean, that's the most likely scenario, right? But if we think about all the intangibles, if we think about the fact that Nunez is a brand new mother, first training camp as a new mother, in her, pre-fight interview, she's even talked about the difficulties of getting the training while trying to balance, everything out. She said this camp was one of the hardest camps she's ever had. And on the scale, she didn't look great. She's never been a physical specimen. She's never been someone with the six-pack abs, but she looked pretty soft on the scale. And so when I give the eye test, I see that. I know she's a brand new mother. I know this is her first camp and she's struggling in camp. I have to think that the issues that have plagued her throughout her career are going to reoccur. She's notoriously been bad in later rounds, tires very quickly, her cardio fails her. If based on what I'm seeing, that's probably going to happen again. So if we can get to later rounds, if we can get to round 3, I'm thinking that she's probably going to start to fade. And if she starts to fade and Megan can, maintain her takedown defense for the first 5-10 minutes, I could see her picking it up later on. And maybe she doesn't win the fight, but maybe she keeps it close. And if that happens, then Anderson plus 5.5 is a solid bet at plus 460 odds. I mean, those are insane. You're going to give me nearly 5-1 odds, and you're going to give me 5.5 points. I got to take that. This is MMA. It would not be the most shocking upset, in my opinion, if Megan Anderson won this fight. I think that a lot of people would agree with me on that because her frame, her physicality, the fact that she's young, the fact that she's improving from fight to fight, the fact that a couple years ago she just looked like a wet blanket on the ground, but now she's fucking getting triangle choke wins off her back. Her youth and athleticism is going to allow her to make these fight-to-fight adjustments, and I think we should see an improved Anderson. Maybe she gets taken down right away, maybe she gets choked. If it happens, it happens. But at these odds, with these points, it's something that you just got to take a flyer on it.
I gotta tell you, it's one of the rare times on the Verbal Tap audio broadcast that when we play over under Kevin, you hear me go, "What were the odds again?" after Kevin reads them, and I go, "Put $20 on her." And he goes, "Yeah," and I go, "Yeah. I'm not saying she's gonna win, but if you don't take some of those odds just for the shit of it, of if it did go, that's an amount that I wouldn't feel bad about losing, but more importantly, the upside just compels you to do it. Just because of what the fuck." So I didn't mean to go on my Dan thing on the show intentionally, but when it happened, I just intentionally said it out loud and said, no, I stand by that. I wouldn't be mad at losing $20 with the possibility of what you could gain from it. So I got a receipt from Kevin today, though, that he did actually put money down on her. So we'll see what that looks like. And worst case scenario, then Nunes was continuously the GOAT, and we all just are fine with that. I think we're all okay with that outcome. I noticed you didn't...
good for her, good for her kid and her family. They get to have the nice little family moment in the cage with the belts and stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, you can never be mad about losing an MMA bet. It is so unpredictable by nature. If you're making the bet, assume you could lose. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. You have to be happy for the fighter that wins. I was obviously very upset when Curtis Blades got knocked out by that uppercut from hell. But how can you be mad at Derek Lewis? You know what I mean? Like, how could you be mad at that guy? Fuck it. I lost money, whatever. I'll win it again next week. It's not a big deal.
Yes. And more than that, I'm glad that you touched on the narrative that was making its way within the UFC, which is she's a mother now. Who knows how much power she may have as a mama cub? And I go, this is actually weird.
Yeah, and as someone who has kids, having kids is never going to be a fucking advantage for your fight career. She was like, I know she was doing backstage. She's like, I could just bring my baby to the gym. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're 100% focused while your fucking baby's at the gym. Like, it's never going to be an advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. That changing of the diaper is really going to help your hand speed. Is really what it comes down to. And I don't know, man. You know what? Good for them. It's nice to see that they're talking about two women having a baby. That's on television. They're all just doing their thing. But when they try to bring that into fight analysis, I go, You know what? We're good here. I like her enough already. Who's this winning over? Is this winning over the moms who are watching right now? They're like, that's right. I would be better if I had a kid right now. In fact, I'll pop a kid out to win a fight.
1 second. We got to fight, man. I gotta throw some money on the other guy.
Shit.
So at this point in the evening, when I'm now 7 fights in a row winning, I start throwing money on the other guy because worst case scenario, I lose this $100, $200 I'm about to bet on Kai Kara France. But if it keeps going, I'm gonna win like 120 grand. So it's at some point you gotta hedge against yourself. So I'm betting on Kai Kara France here. I don't think Kai Kara France is gonna win, but I'm gonna throw like $200 on him and see what happens.
Should I be concerned that you would win too much money that you wouldn't come back here and do the bid anymore?
Oh, this would definitely be my biggest win, but I've hit 5-figure parlays in the past. Okay. I don't know who your fans are. I don't know if you only know anything with the IRS, but this is obviously off the books in Costa Rica. But this would definitely be my biggest win.
That's fair. I'm just making sure because I can't have you win. And then all of a sudden next week when people go, where's Dan? I go, Dan's no more. Dan is taking on a new alias.
Oh, no. It would be the exact opposite. I'd come in here with the Conor McGregor strut. I'd be doing the $1 billion fucking walk onto the fucking podcast, man. Yeah, it would be the exact opposite.
I'm pretty sure at one point, not only would you do that, but then we'd probably have to start referring it to as the Dan Hubler presents the Grappling Hour Fight Companion for UFC 259. I'm entertained by this, and I know that you put the money on that. So, are you good on the bet?
Yeah, I'm doing it on. I had to do it on 2 sports books, but I'm good.
Okay, because I wanted to bring a question to your double check, and I noticed you didn't tell us what to bet on for the main event. So, as a result of that, you're not touching that one.
Yeah, I'm not betting that fight, man. Izzy coming in at 201.5. I don't know if that's mind games. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just banking on being faster. But I mean, Jan, that Polish power is no fucking joke, man. And I know Izzy is difficult to hit. He's a hard target. He moves around quite a bit. He's got great head movement and all that. But it's just it's too concerning for me to take that fight when there's more easily predictable fights on the card. Why bet that one? You know what I mean? I'm going to look at that fight from a fan's perspective, not a bettor's perspective, and I'm just going to fucking enjoy it. You know, this is obviously the most stacked card of the year, without question. But I would argue, based on the fights we've seen already, it's already the best card of the year. We've seen some incredible finishes already, some come from behind victories, obviously, because my parlays are still alive. Bunch of underdogs have cashed. So this has been a great night of fights so far. And I'm going to, by the time we get to that fight, hopefully, my bank account has a couple of extra zeros in, and I'll just watch it as a fan.
Dan, I didn't have any anxiety going into tonight, but now I feel like I am taking on the anxiety. I'm only pot committed in the sense that I know you, and I wish good things for you. Good takedown though. We're
obviously I have Bontarine on my
parlay. I'm very much entertained by this. I am glad that you were kind of hedging your bets there. I would also ask you though, is there anything else? Drew Dober is a friend of the show. Do you have any notes for that fight?
I actually do, and this is actually props to Drew because for the most part, I stay away from that fight. If you take a look at my parlays, for the most part, I stay away from it. I'm not going to give up points against Dober. A lot of people think Makhachev is going to steamroll him, use the whole Khabib wrestling thing that they all do. But I am not comfortable giving up points in that fight. I see Dober making it a close dog fight. I could see Dober even shocking him. Dober's definitely the best competition he's fought so far. So it would not be a shocker if Dober got the win there. So, definitely. By the time we get to that fight, I'm throwing, maybe a couple grand on Dober. If it depends, if my parlays are still alive at that point, I'm going to throw a couple grand on Dober and hope that he gets the win. He's definitely a live dog on this card. So I'm very much looking forward to that one too. Obviously, the narrative here is that Makhachev is the A side. I think the UFC is kind of hoping that he gets a dominant victory here so they can kind of pump him up. But Dober's a spoiler, man. He's a dog. He's definitely someone I am not comfortable betting against.
Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about this body triangle that we're seeing that is currently on air. Is this giving you pause or excitement?
It gives me a little bit of pause because I'm worried that he's not switching sides. He's kind of just letting the pressure remain on his ankle. Maybe he just got great fucking ankles. But I worry about him getting a finish here with only a minute and a half left. If he's not switching sides, actively looking for the better position, then I don't feel he's going to get it. So I would definitely feel much more comfortable if we got this first round finish. It looks like he might get it.
It's possible, dude. Look at this. It's that weird teetering to the side. I feel like trying to find the cage.
I'm only a purple belt, but from what I know, standing up as a defense to the rear naked choke doesn't fucking work. So that seemed like a misstep on Kai's part.
And it does look like it's rechambering, but he is fighting pretty well off of these two hands. There's 1 minute left to go in this first round. It's still an impressive
display. It looks like
display.
He's going more neck crank, jaw crush than he is really getting under the chin. But look at those fucking transitions, man.
Yeah.
He almost bucked them off there. That was a beautiful recovery and to retake the back, get both hooks in. His jiu-jitsu looks great. And one of the reasons I took him in this fight, and again, he was an underdog, just like a lot of the fighters I picked on this card, but on paper, I thought Kai Kara-France should be the underdog. I mean, Bontorin has been much more proven than in the UFC. Obviously, he got that kind of iffy win over Paiva with the TKO, the cut over the eye.
Yeah.
But he's so aggressive. His grappling's been so good. I thought he should probably be, the favorite. So if you see a fight like that where you think the guy should be a favorite and he's the underdog, you got to bet it. And if you lose, you lose.
Yeah. No, you're definitely doing a lot of the good work here.
Shit.
Oh! Wait! Oh!
And see, that's why we hedge our bets, ladies and gentlemen, because just like that, you go from dominating a fight to an L.
Not only dominating a fight, but then you have your opponent throw his mouthguard at you.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit early. I'm obviously biased in that regard, but a little bit early.
To be fair, though, when your head does take a pretty bad dive onto the mats and hit it at the front, that is a little odd. So what is happening right now? What is going on? He seems to be talking to a number of people. So is he just getting a flag? That's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too, is I would accept that stoppage a lot more comfortably if we didn't have that second fight where they let Elon Cruz basically fucking die out there. That would be the one where I'm like, this one looks a little early. But that just crushed my parlay.
I understand. RIP your parlay. But did you see him try to get back up from that, though? And, props to coming back over to make sure with a raised hand, though.
Yeah. How much time was left on the clock?
Oof. Yeah. Listen, dude, I've got a pretty hard head, but if I hit my head on that, I'm pretty sure there's the potential for injury. And I'm glad that Herb put together a force field wall to make sure he wouldn't come back in with that raised hammer fist hand. But yeah, that's the mouth guard that got flown all over.
I think it was more excitement than disrespect. Maybe it was disrespect. He thought the fight was. He thought the fight was still on. He wasn't sure. He was going to follow up if he needed to. I think it was a little confusing because I don't think there was that much time left on the clock. So maybe he thought the fight was still on. I don't know.
I just want you to see when they do the replay again of his legs trying to get back up, though. That's the more determining part to me. When you see someone who says, let me go ahead and get back up there. And they look like they're competing with Jim Carrey for physical comedy. It's not quite the best. So I know this is not the nicest of things to do, but I do have to ask you to do the toast to this. You can do an RIP to your parlay.
Yeah, I don't have I guess I do have a water handy. So, good job, Kai. You just cost me like 120,000 hypothetical dollars, but we're still in it. We're still in it. We're still up. So, in reality, how much did you lose me? You lost me $3. So, thank you, Kai, for only making me lose $3, still making me some money on the other end. Good job on that recovery. That was incredible that you came back from that. Hopefully the city kickboxing trends continue tonight and we see one more win in the main event. Cheers.
Cheers. So, as we circle for you, I'm curious, where did the sparkling water become a fascination for you? Because I see you, do you rank them? Do you give them ratings or numerical percentages? Because it is the teacher in you to do that, but I've just never gotten as to why you do that.
I don't know, man. I just really got into it during quarantine, and it was just something to do. And I decided not to drink any alcohol during quarantine, so it's actually been a whole year now that we're in March. And I figured, I used to like to try out different beers and stuff like that. I think most craft beer drinkers do. It's part of like a collector mindset of trying everything out. So now instead of doing that, I just try out different waters, and there's just as many, if not more, waters to try out. So it's something to do and something I enjoy.
Weird. The fact that I saw you ranking waters made me look at like a day when I'm looking at a beer and going, this can't be the same sort of deal. Like, this is how I know quarantine has gotten to you, Dan Hubler. So I'm concerned for you, and I hope that you're doing okay otherwise. Well, Dan, listen, you did the toast to him. You told us what's going on. I don't want to ruin your enjoyment for the rest of the night. I'm super stoked for what's to come, because not only are we going to have 3 championship bouts, but 15 out of 15, knock on wood, fights are actually going to make it. So that when people said, are you doing a fight companion tonight? And I said, of course I am. And they said, okay, what time are you starting? And I said, well, all 15 made it. So that means that even the UFC goes, oh shit, we put on there they were going to start at 3, like 3:30. We gotta actually start at 2:15 because holy fuck, that's too many fights. So I think even they were surprised it made its way through.
Yeah, I think they definitely loaded up the card thinking that there might be a couple that fell off, but it's good news for us.
And a great night. All right, Dan, get on out of here. Thank you so much. I wish you luck on your other 2 parlays. Keep hope alive, and hopefully next week we see you, Uncle Scrooge, swim into some deep, deep digital coins.
All right, thanks. See you next week.
See you, bud. Well, that was our good friend, one Dan Hubler, who apparently still has 2 parlays out and living. And, God, he could have won $120,000. That would have been good. Off of $3. So don't feel too bad for him. He was putting the worst, ridiculous combinations possible, and guess what? They were paying well up until Kaikara Fance, had to kind of ruin things. But as Dan put it so eloquently, you only really lost me $3. So I can't really be too mad. But the upside, ridiculous. Too ridiculous. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back on live on the Instagram because we want to make sure that we're talking to our friends over on that side. And as we continue to do what we do best, we will take your questions, comments, concerns, hints, allegations, all of that good stuff. We're having ourselves a good night this evening. And we hope you are too. So I'm already seeing the fight get memed all the way through. We've seen some very fun comebacks tonight. I missed I think what was supposed to be the biggest comeback of the night. But don't worry, producer wife Kelly was watching and was texting me as it was going on with play-by-play analysis. That's how you know you got a good one, kids. UFC 259 prelims back on the Instagrams lives. Here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza. We are coming to you live right now. It is 5:25 Best Coast time. We're in the middle of the UFC 259 prelims. Stoked you're here. We're going to be going on all night long. I hope that you're having a good day. If not, pull up a beer, cheers along with us. Have a good day with us. It looks like, is that the Benavidez fight that's coming up next? All right. Good for us. Very stoked to have that happening. I also want to make sure that this is actually going to use the proper thing, because I want to make sure we're not just using the shitty connection on this one. Let us disconnect these, and we should be back on with you guys. Let's see if it comes back on over to the right setup. All right, well, we just saw Kai Kara France come back with a miraculous comeback right now. Stoked for him. Unfortunately meant that Dan didn't have great things going on. What is up, sir? What is up? Strength, Mob Clinic. Love the friends over at Strength Mobility Clinic, aka Strength Mobility. If you guys are ever hanging out in Canoga, go give them a visit. Go work out with them. The effects that I have seen from the people who train there are quite good. So y'all definitely need to go get on up at it if you haven't gone to visit with them early enough. What is Hayastan MMA? That sounds like, not like a fake account, but like possibly one that could be suspicious. Like you might get flagged. What's up, Abode? Hope you're doing well, bud. We got a monster night, and it says, I'm the only one in here from Michael Lifts. Well, you're not the only one watching Michael Lifts. There's a lot more people watching on different destinations. You just got to find the right one. What's up, Cheftastic? You feeling great tonight? I hope you are. It is a pleasure to see you. Jits Life, Daniel Spinoff, Ashraf MSGR, wherever you're watching from. But anyway, kids, it's a great night for fighting. We've seen some good shit already. Throw your questions, your comments, your concerns at us, all of that good jazz. I'm here for your viewing and your entertainment purposes. We're going to be doing a fight companion all evening long. Our good friend Sven will be joining us a little bit later. And much, much more. So tell me what's happening in your neck of the woods. But coming up next, I do believe, is going to be the Benavidez fight. So let's see how our fans have been doing tonight. Because I've been following along. We do a poll. And from those polls, sometimes we give out awards or prizes. So I'm looking to see how our fans are doing. Michael Lifts. It has started already. But the pay-per-view hasn't gone on live yet. So we are in the preliminary motions. So, Court, what's happening lately over at Strength Mobility? I want to hear what you guys have been up to. It looks like California is going to be rounding a corner a little bit and opening things back up a little bit more. And I think you guys are going to be very stoked. We've been holding on to an interview that I have with my good friend, Sven Manseau from Strength Mobility, that I had been waiting to premiere when people can actually go to gyms. Because I can't tell you to go when you can't go. But it's coming. And I see here, who you got, Raph? Jan or Izzy? I'm hoping for Izzy. And it says, Benavidez is very brave for taking that fight. And it says, oh yeah, I figured. What's up, Michael Lifts? What do you lift, Michael? Should we, is it like proper to ask you etiquette on how much you bench? Is that what we do? I don't really know. Raph does not lift. So he does not know what's up. What's up, Budo Dave? It's been a minute since we've seen each other, Seamus. Good to see you, or Seamus. It says, what do you think of that stoppage? I'm good with it. If you saw how that guy was trying to get back up to watch, or to walk, it didn't look too good. What I thought was more intense was how he was trying to get up and walk, and then for him to throw his mouth guard is a particular type of yikes. Because, first of all, who throws a mouth guard? Second of all, gross. Especially in Corona times. Don't throw anything at me that has your saliva or your person like fighting and jiu-jitsu and all that sort of stuff. Already gross as is. Don't need that in my life. But otherwise, yeah, look pretty powerful. And you're saying that's not you in the profile picture. That's a bodybuilder influencer but my current mats is 325 bench. Good for you. I think you can get away with a Michael Lifts as the name now, so that makes sense. It says, yeah, I agree, but Kai was a bit early on the celebration, in my opinion. I don't know, man. If the referee stops the fight, I'm going to celebrate. I don't care who the fuck's telling me yes or no. But he did come back with a raised fist, so I could kind of understand that as a probability. It says, did you start noticing how the cage is smaller? I have. They've been talking about all week. And it says, he's a fighter, he fights. Yeah, of course. And how it affected Olberg in the later minutes of the first round. Not only did it affect Olberg, but people are talking about how that may actually help Izzy tonight. So that's fairly impressive. We get the weirdest fucking messages when we are live and on air. We get some of our fans sending in memes because we're not watching or looking at memes while we are live on air. So it is very funny to see some of them go up. What is up, Carlos Leo SP? Thank you for joining us. I hope that you guys are having fun. What has been your favorite moment of tonight's fights thus far? I would love to hear it. I would love to know it. And it says, who do you have winning the main event? You are Team Adesanya. I got to say, I'm with you on that. I would love to see Izzy win. Having said that, that seems a little difficult. I don't want to overlook the fact that the person he is fighting tonight, one, Jan Blachowicz, is he's a beast, man. And it says, isn't that going to help Jan more? You would think. But I think the whole thing that they've been going all in on is talking about how Izzy has a very fight IQ that is very, very well-rounded. I mean, the dude has enough fights in his experience. He just has to stay away from the power. And if you cut off the angles, I understand that could be a problem. But I think that Izzy's fought in enough different scenarios where he kind of knows what to do in very bad areas. So I see a Bode taking you to town for that one. I won't give you too much more shit for that. But yes, he's saying in response to your being the stronger fighter, and then saying closing distance on Adesanya is not leverage. It depends. We'll see what that knockout power looks like, but Jan even looking real powerful. I don't envy those people having to do this. I also don't love the fact that Izzy is doing armbar drills and apparently picking up people to ragdoll slam them. Like, not my favorite thing. It says, well, Jan is very good at clinch range striking. He is. I think the idea is to watch how Izzy's movement is going to go tonight. What is up, Axel 831? Seems we're going to have a very, very active crew tonight. So that's it. And it says, waiting for Toxic Mcgregor to make his return. Listen, dude. I just like the idea of Toxic McGregor. Yes, council culture should come for him multiple times. I don't know. I mean, it's pluses and minuses. Conor McGregor promises that he's no longer going to be the nice guy that he was previously, which begs the question, is he going back to the bad guy? Is he going to be a heel again? What does that mean? And you said, and training in Atos. Actually, this week, training in Atos is a strike against you, so could be problematic, especially if you're looking at some of those videos that went up like yesterday. Here's some good news, though. If you guys like entertaining rhetorical analysis and breakdown of those things, because other shows can't do that, but we at Verbal Tap can. Myself, Kevin Phillips, did a breakdown of Andre Galvo's statement. God, it's hard to do this all the way without breaking, but yes. Andre Galvo's statement, which, by the way, at the very end included... This is harder than you think. It included him doing a 50% discount to subscriptions to his website, which begs the question, are you really trying to subscribe to that website after that dude didn't defend himself? Because that's... it's not going to be my first subscription, if I'm being honest. Not for that reason. Andre is a very accomplished jiu-jitsu guy. it was just weird and didn't seem like the most appropriate time. Like, imagine if at the end of the decision, LeBron James gets to the very end and says, by the way, I'm taking my talents to Miami. And if you'd like to get these new LeBron James sneakers, here you go. 30% off, but only until midnight. 50% if you live in Florida. Like, all of us, the whole world would have clowned him on SportsCenter, but we're a little more smaller and a little bit more of a niche sport, so we can kind of get away with that. But when he definitely ended his Instagram live of 30 minutes of just kind of talking and then said 50% off the website as if he was doing us all a favor, I thought, okay then, sure. All right, I see a few things here that says back to dolly chucking. I don't know what that means, but okay. Intoxicated McGregor is the best McGregor. Absolutely. Cocaine McGregor. Probably the strongest. And it says, I don't think Adesanya will be using the lean back thing a lot today because Jan got a little more reach than Whitaker and Costa. Okay. And it says, and damn, he had an MMA career and got slapped like that. Yeah, that's the weirder part. And it says, we need the Chad Mendes McGregor. Yeah. That was a fun McGregor. Also, that McGregor won me a bet against Tim Kennedy, so I'm forever in that debt because Tim bet against Connor on that one. He was betting with Chad Mendes, and it was a tiebreaker because we were doing a whole pay-per-view bet thing. So it would always go that the one time I competed against Tim Kennedy, I beat him. I'll never stop reminding him of that. Like ever. I'm also just never going to roll with him now because no reason. But yeah, you're saying, and he got slapped like that. Yeah. Our sport is weird, dude. I don't understand. I mean, to be fair, though, just to really get to the end of that whole thing that he did yesterday and to hear him say, Gordon, I forgive you, was interesting. Who is my favorite UFC fighter? More after this. I'll get back to that question in a second. And it says, I'm really excited for Jan versus Aljamain more than the main event. I don't think those two people are fighting each other, but okay, I see you. Who's my favorite UFC fighter? GSP. GSP the best. Fun to watch. Good guy. GOAT. Could come back and win after X number of years. Genetic freak. Seemed to really carry into things a whole mystique of MMA that we didn't really understand. And when he was gone, we really did miss him. So, yeah, I love GSP. I have other people who I am entertained by, but I think GSP is probably my favorite. Before him, of course, Anderson Silva. Those are the things that got us into this. It was crazy to be there for those times. Current UFC fighter is a different situation. I'll answer that one later. And it says, some dude in my town bet 10 large on Megan Anderson. We were just talking about that in our previous show with our good friend Dan Hubler a few minutes ago. Dan Hubler was saying, how can you not take some action on Megan Anderson? Because Nunes is potentially still an underdog in some respect, even though she's probably a better fighter. Plus, it's MMA. There's always a possibility. So we discussed how, even if you don't think she's going to win the fight, the odds are still good enough to put some money down. But as we remind you all, don't put more money down than you are comfortable losing. It's really that simple. Please don't become really bad gamblers. Imagine being that guy. I will not, because I would not. Even though I like her just fine. Would not. But as a good time to remind you guys, if you give us a like and a share over on Facebook, we will give you a toast on air, just like we do those fighters who get finishes within regulation. And tonight there have been a few. And it says, Khabib would maul him. Respectfully, of course, his wrestling is unmatched. Khabib is very good, but I don't know that Khabib would really want to stand and bang with GSP, and I think that's the bigger question mark. Plus, I think that we've seen GSP in his prime. We're not talking about GSP versus Khabib now, because that's fucking nonsense. That shouldn't even happen. But if you're talking about two people in their prime, I think prime GSP has the athleticism that could pose a very interesting question mark, because we've seen him work in bad spots, and I think that GSP he's clever. I think he's crafty. So, I don't know. And it says the way he follows Yan and uses shifting a lot. Got it. But let me go ahead and double check this real quick. Give us a like and a share on Facebook. We give it a toast on air. I see that we got to do a toast for our good friend Adam Woods, who's given us a share, and we appreciate that. It always helps the broadcast when you guys give us some love. And we are making our way into the second fight of the ESPN Plus prelims. I like when they say things like, for those of you joining us from basketball or some other sport, because I always think, who really is watching from that other sport? And if they are, do you think that they're really falling for it? We're almost looking at them like, you got here by accident, so stick around. Maybe something fun will happen. But yes, introductions are happening. Give me who you think is going to win this one. I'm going to do some notes in this. And it says, McGregor's the best boxer in the UFC. We saw what Khabib did to him, LOL. Yeah, I did take him 4 rounds, but I think Khabib was enjoying himself for parts of those rounds. If you're talking about prime versus prime, I thought McGregor taking those weird 2 years of him going around and doing boxing and all that other bullshit. I was like, dude, that fight's not going to be the same. And obviously the better money was always on Khabib. I thought Khabib had a very difficult skill set for anybody. But I just thought maybe it would have been a little bit more competitive for McGregor had it been closer to that 2014, 2015 bullshit. But it is what it is. We also saw what Conor was struggling with Diaz in some respects. So the difference is Conor, though being a better boxer, still doesn't have GSP's ability to fight IQ. It's just a different breed, man. Just different time. What is up, Boa Academy? Interesting. And he says he seems basic, but he just has a really solid traditional boxing set. I got you. All right, Benavidez in the black trunks, Askarov in the red. That is the beginning of this fight. I've got about 4:36 on my clock. Hopefully you are somewhere in that region. If not, I'll give you a little bit of what's happening live in front of us. But yes, Benavidez, it's been a rough few fights in the past for him. Obviously, still pretty solid fight all around, but yeah, just been, when you get to like the top of that division, it's very tough. But last few fights for Benavidez, just to kind of remind you guys in case you don't remember, with his heavy wrestling background, he's coming off 2 losses, one to Davison Figueiredo and the other one, you guessed it, to Davison Figueiredo. Both of those dating back within the past calendar year. And before that, he was on a nice win streak with wins over Dustin Ortiz, Alex Perez, and Jussier Formiga. And those were all very nice. And it says, what do you think about Nick Diaz? Out of context, but since you were talking about GSP, I love the Diaz brothers. I have no idea what Nick Diaz looks like fighting now because there's been so much time in the time since. So the Diaz brothers are almost a myth at this point. It says, Joe is the champ every fight. Even if he loses, he may not take home the belt, but he takes home Megan O'Leary. I mean, Megan O'Leary does write very, very sweet posts about him. So it is always nice when you see that. I can't deal with her having to report on things and then be cage side for it. I always feel really bad for her when they cut to that footage of her watching the fights and I go, you don't need to do this. I have a pretty good idea of how she's taking it. But yeah, good for them, man. That's always nice. You always wonder how those things are going to go. I don't 100% love the flurry attack here by Benavidez. Hands seem to go down for a little bit as he tries to just charge in with nothing really forcing anything there. What's up, Torres BJJ? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Watching us some UFC 259 prelims. Kind of a slow starting first round for Benavidez and Askarov. Benavidez is trying to move forward now, but it does look like Askarov getting a little bit better footing at the midway point of the first round. Nice overhand right there, though, by Askarov. Oof. I think that Benavidez was trying to shoot in for a takedown right at the same time he collided with part of the arm of Askarov. And I think that's going to be the difference between the two. You are probably going to see Benavidez trying to implement more of that wrestling style if he can. The question mark is, can he? Meanwhile, compare Askarov with wins over Tim Elliott, who we saw earlier tonight pick up a win, and Alexandre Pantoja. It says Joe's guard kind of exotic. Stop that. It's not necessary. So this is a nice little meeting. And it's a tough one. I know that we had somebody say earlier that they respect Benavidez for taking this fight. There is a lot of upside for Askarov. And thus far, Askarov looking a little bit better thus far in the second half of this first round. It says Joe really goes in with his head a lot. Yeah, that bugs me, man. Not just from a boxing standpoint, but also from a wrestling standpoint, because you want to keep your head safe. And, if you really think back to his last loss, looking over with Davison Figueiredo, looking at the power of Davison in that fight, that just was actively something that made us all stand at attention on that one. And it says, that looks bad. Yeah, it doesn't look great thus far. But you are seeing Askarov. He was trying to get in one hook, weighing him down just a little bit more. Yep, returns with the right hook. Starts to take the back for a split second. Does not get it, but continues to rush all the way with Benavidez up against the cage. Gets a nice suplex there. Takes him down momentarily. There is 22 seconds left in round number 1. There is the potential for a back take and more here as he's kind of wallowing on, but this could be remnants of one Davison Figueiredo, but Benavidez, at the very least, doing a good 2-on-1 here. He will probably survive with just 5 seconds left to go in this. And I see here it says, wow, solid takedown game. Indeed, and that is the end of round number 1. And if you're like the rest of us, we're all just kind of sitting here saying, yikes. So that's what I got. What do you guys think of that first round? And by the way, while we're waiting for what you guys thought about the first round, let's go ahead and take a moment to go ahead and give a toast to our good friend, one Adam Woods. Adam Woods, this cheers goes on out to you, good sir. This is a good reminder in case you don't know something about Adam Woods, but Adam Woods was one of the first individuals to say, hey, what is this WWE network? And he was the one to go ahead and get the very first subscription for it. And he was also sending them suggestions as the programming was going on, saying, you misspelled the big boss man's name. So we appreciate you for being a worthy supporter of that program, even though it's going away. So you got to now subscribe to Peacock. Oopie doopie. Cheers to you. But that's what we got. Keep us updated. Keep us in the know. Very excited to do all of the fight companionry with all of y'all tonight. Having a pretty decent go at today in terms of everybody getting in good notes. I do still like the solid takedown game note from Abode because I do think that it is indicative of what we are seeing. As Ben Folks chimes in and says, for my emotional well-being, I need Joe Benavidez to win this fight. Which is pretty funny. And MMA Roasted coming in and says, Benavidez looks like Frank Shamrock in the 4th grade. Woo! And it says, beat that shocked Undertaker guy. Absolutely. Woo! Benavidez is trying to unload, but Askarov gets a really solid right. And now, dude, I just look at Benavidez's hands and ask yourself, and this note goes on to our friend Ben Folks, but are you not concerned about this? Like, holy fuck, this makes me very nervous for him. Askarov rushes him over to the cage. Yikes, another takedown there. This shit makes me feel bad. Somebody send Ben Folks a message right now and let him know he might not be okay. Benavidez doing a little bit better defense with his back potentially compromised. Standing back up. Askarov 2 for 3 on the takedowns. Is getting depressing. What is up, Igor Alberto Machado? We're watching us some UFC 259 prelims. Another takedown here. God damn, dude. Askarov's ability to take down at will and just maintain the position is a problem. It is a huge problem on this fight card so far. It's going to be one more. Yep, I think he's going to... Dude, he's almost hitting essentially the Eddie Guerrero Three Amigos here. He has the grip underneath. Benavidez very much fighting for his life here. Back compromised. There is a body triangle there that I can see. That's not going to be great. Abode saying, so sad for Joe. I agree. The body triangle with the leg on the outside, kind of nicely creating a little bit of a lift for control for Askarov to do what he wants. What's up, Freedom Grappling? What do you guys got going on next? Let me know. Good elbow from the back, though. That's a good way to kind of fight your way out of having your back compromised there. Good Lord. This is very nerve-wracking. I want somebody to go check in there. And it says Joe's going to lose. We don't know that yet, but it's not looking good. I mean, we've seen comebacks happen tonight. We've also seen people throw their mouth guards when they didn't think they lose at the right time. Yeah, Askarov's control is just a very difficult problem for him at this point. Nice sweep. There's a potential for an X guard, which you don't see a ton of times. But nope. Benavidez still crumpled on over to the side of the cage. Askarov let him get just a smidge of air only to take it away for a few more strikes to the face there. And it says Askarov is a straight savage, though. It says trying to put together a card in May, focused on opening the gym at the moment. That makes sense. Goes for y'all. Keep us posted. Oof, I think the referee... I just want to double check here. It did look like the referee handed him the equivalent of a blade. Just to be like, here, I think you need this, dude. You can use a stabbing mechanism now. I'm not offended by that. Ugh. Okay, so now I'm looking at the very real possibility of a third round, and I don't like it. Especially with the sense of, you know that Benavidez, his main weapon is his wrestling, and he is being out-wrestled and out-grappled here. And in a very bad way. So it begs the question, especially when you've seen the way his hands looked in that very first round and part of the second, where is the wind for this man? Oof. Askarov unloading on him, and Benavidez going to his corner. What is up, CRNI Rules? Good to see you. We're watching us some prelims of UFC 259. Things are not going well for Joseph Benavidez, but they're going wonderfully for Askarov. If Joe makes it out of round 2, he did, then what? I need an end to that sentence. I have no idea what the fuck you were going to say after that. Because he did. He is going to come out banging in the third. Yeah, we've seen what his banging looks like, dude. That still doesn't make me feel better. Thank you so much. Greetings. CRNI Rules, where are you watching from? You excited for tonight's fights? If so, which one are you most excited for? And why are they having Dick Vitale put Gatorade on himself? I think once you reach a certain age, they should mostly leave you alone. If this doctor is nice enough, he would just stop it for all of us, but he's not. What's up, BJJ Empire? Damn, he might get finished. Yeah, that's my concern. I want him to just be okay. All right, here we go. Round number 3. Askarov, very much enjoying the fight that he is doing. I have to say, though, I would love to ask a fighter after you see them be this dominant for 2 rounds straight. I'd love to pull them aside and say, you were feeling pretty good in this fight, right? How does it feel to just, even though there's always the risk of something happening and you could potentially lose, but when you're in that zone and you can get away with kicks like that don't even look like you bat an eye, like, how does that feel to be in that zone? Like, that must feel amazing. Very excited. NYC all card is dope. I'm excited about Rakit because I am Serb. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Appreciate hearing that. Welcome from NYC. I hope things are going well over there. Watching over here from Los Angeles. So, on the other side of the world in America, comparatively. But pleasure to have you here. Yeah, I don't know, man. This whole fight card is ridiculous. I actually didn't believe they were going to put 3 championships up at first. And then I said, if they're going to do that, they're going to give us a gift. Now look at Askarov getting in that right hook that he has no business necessarily even doing at this point. Oof. Yeah. It was a little bit of a teep kick. Today I got to work some striking with my striking coach, and he was like, hey, we should do some kicks. Let's learn kicks. And I go, why? Bro, I'm not fighting. I don't need to know how to kick. And he just goes, just try it out. And I swear to God, after the 3rd kick, I just remembered thinking to myself, how do people do this? Like, why do people do this? This is crazy to me. If I would have learned how to kick after soccer, it would have been so much easier for me. But now I'm like, dude, this is hard. Askarov has an answer for just everything. Yeah, I think Askarov is like, oh, cool, well, I was winning the ground exchanges, but now I'll just remind you that I've got better striking, too, just for the fun of it. Oof, no, he's going to take him down one more time. This is all problematic. And just remember, like, Davis Figueiredo showed us that, yeah, you can beat Benavidez and pretty dominantly. But that's a short change the dude's career. Oh, that kick is so good. He has a right kick that just keeps finding its landing spot on his face. And to his credit, Benavidez isn't really flinching as he's getting hit, but he just keeps taking them, and that's just sad to me. Look at the difference in the form for their kicks, though. Like, legitimately look when Benavidez is going to do a kick and when Askarov is going to do a kick. And just see if you can figure out the difference between those two. And it says Joe just looks like he didn't change a lot of stuff in his game. I think it's that, but I also will be willing to tell you guys, when you get older and you learn all this stuff, it's much harder. So sometimes your brain thinks it's doing something that your body is not cooperating with. I'm wondering if that is part the case here. And I just don't know, man. But Benavidez knows at this point he's kind of outgunned. There's 124 left to go in this fight. And he is doing his best, but this is... Oof. Even the jabs look punishing at this point. And I know we've seen some excellent jabs within the past month, especially top line by Kamaru Usman. But just look at the ease in which Askarov has landed his jabs, landed his high kicks, landed the wrestling dominance. It's a lot to take in here. What is up, Uchi Maxwell? Ooh, that was a better kick from Benavidez. I'll give him that. Switches the stance yet again, comes in, leaves his just chin open. At this point, I think he's probably going to have more success jumping over the kicks, because it looks like he's kind of going for that knee, that jumping in place knee each time. And Askarov just knows it, dude. And in fact, Askarov looking over and being like, dude, he's kicking me in the junk. Could we do something about that? And referee saying, nah, it's cool. You're fine. At this point, Benavidez is almost a little bit on a kamikaze mission, running in and just seeing if he could swat or paw him at any point. What is up, Stu Jitsu 760? Oh, and Askarov now just kind of standing in place to just show he can. Well, I'm not one to always read into body language, but you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell Benavidez knew he lost that fight pretty bad. What's up, Albert? The esteemed Albert, the warrior, joining us in the Instagrams. One of our favorites over here on the show. Get to see this guy on a number of Sundays. Say hello to him. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about these fights here today. What is up, Fabio? It's hard to watch, dude. It's hard to watch somebody like Benavidez, who I do like him just fine, look very outclassed in a fight like that, where you know he's given everything he's got to try and make something happen there, but Askarov just looks so smooth, so good in that fight. And even when you think you might have a little bit of an advantage on that wrestling, that grappling looks so good on Askarov as well. Yeah, you're in the same place I am. Just poor Joe, man. Let's remind ourselves he goes home to Megan Levy. That's a good prize. Awesome. Good for him. But yes, the unanimous decision, all but a formality here, as we just kind of wait to see what happens on this one. But we already know it in our hearts and in our heads. I do want to hear what Askarov has to say. So normally we do a cheers or a toast to those who get finishes within regulation. We will not be doing one here for Askarov, though I would like to kind of... Oh, Askarov is asking for a belt at this point. I would tell you this, and I'm just an optics guy. If you're asking for a belt, perhaps don't do it fast. Fast looks like you might have some sort of weird neurological problem that you're working through. You have to do it slow. Like, nobody shows off their belt fast. If you're ever wearing a championship belt, it's not like you go, hey, have you seen my championship belt? You go, hey, have you seen my championship belt? Look at this. I'm just saying, optics, they are important, especially when you're just challenging for a belt and saying you deserve it. I'm pretty sure that's what they would be saying if they did an interview with him, but it looks like they're going straight to the next fight with Song Yadong after the commercial break. So, noting that, I was thinking that as well. I see a note here that says, K. Onda. The fuck are you talking about? Are you saying a Ronda Rousey thing? Perception is everything. I'm just saying, optics. That's what I'm good for, kids. I help people understand the optics. That's what I'm here for. Let me go ahead and share with you guys what I am drinking here tonight. What's up, Isaiah? Look at this. I want to remind you guys, good friend of the show, Isaiah, dropping in over here. Have not seen that man come to train in so long. I forget if he even knows what jiu-jitsu is. But much love to that guy. Looking to see him soon. Drink of the show here tonight is Radiant Beers Inherent Good Dry Hopped Lager. I am enjoying this one thus far in. As you can see, I'm already about halfway done on it. But, it's been treating me pretty nice here tonight. This was suggested to us by our friends over at Hop Merchants. We appreciate them for making this recommendation. It is just, it's smooth. It's making me feel like it's a good entryway into tonight's UFC. I'm feeling good with it. It says, no, I'm not. I wish, though. Man, you need to show up one of these days. It has been far too long since we've gotten the opportunity to share the mats. I would love to train with you. Plus, I owe that guy at least one sharpshooter, if not more. And it says, Raph can still get a whoop in WWE BJJ style. Here's the thing, dude. Even if you could put something on me in a jiu-jitsu realm, you'll never beat me at WWE BJJ. Why? Because I am the eternal champion for WWE BJJ. In fact, just so that we can remind you dumb people every once in a while that you guys aren't even at the level, it is important to go ahead and denote the difference between what would just be someone who is a practitioner and somebody who is a champion. So just never forget these things. Look at this. Look at this right here and remind yourself that you are not a champion at WWE BJJ. That's how you know. What is up, Laiova, and what is up, Cully D? I like that there was actual comments from the comment sections showing Raph, show us the belt. And I do make sure to do those things. In my Carrot Top prop box over here, we have plenty of things to use. So yes, what is up, Brady Rayner? A little bit later, we're going to be joined by our friend Sven from Strength and Mobility, and that is going to take place on the Grappling Hour YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope pages. You can find all those at Grappling Hour. That'll be happening probably close to the 7 p.m. for the main card, and I'm stoked to have him because he is a welcome presence on the show. Great jiu-jitsu knowledge, great wrestling knowledge, great MMA knowledge. Love that guy. You said a tables, ladders, and chairs match. The only reason you want a table, ladders, and chairs match is so that you could sit down half the way through from your half-assed attempts to be a WWE BJJ champ. So, thus, I'll do it for you. Sit down. No, if you ever try to bring it to me, I will destroy you. That's really what it is. You should come train jiu-jitsu with me because you have a chance at that. Cheers. I love this. That's how you know we're surrounded by good people. They're enjoying the promo work that I'm doing here to fill time. As we're like, so, Song Yadong. That's coming up, right? I know what I'll do. I'll give everybody shit while we're waiting. Because that's my job, guys. It really is. More than being a play-by-play guy or a broadcaster, it's really just to roast people. Is really what it is. But yes. Also, if you guys want to give us some love, you can go on over and purchase. Let me see here. Oh, shit, it fell. If you want to give us some love on the show, you can go purchase. Look at this. Got this over on this way. Official Grappling Hour merch. And check this out. Boom. The Grappling Hour, the t-shirt. Go support us. I believe you can find that over on, let's just say, the Grappling Hour website. I think it's on sale there. Or it's on my website at rafasparza.com. But I'm pretty sure it's grapplinghour.com. So that's what I got. Get one of those shirts. It supports us here on the show. And we appreciate you for supporting us because it gives us the money to do these things forever and ever. And that is what we are seeing thus far in. Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because I want to know who you guys have in this next fight. Do you have Song Yadong or Kyler Phillips? Chime in the comment section below before it is too late. City Rules, I know you're waiting to give us one prediction. I know you said you're excited for a fight that is yet to happen yet. Kyler Phillips, though, those cornrows look pretty good. Him with this fucking Jesus hair. That dude's a beast, too. He has fought out here regionally on the California circuit, and he's a good fighter, man. I'm excited to see what he does here tonight. All right, adding in some nonsense here. Looking to see who you guys have. Feel free to chime in and tell us in the comment section. And it says, can we take a shot together to bless the main card? What we're going to do is we're going to take one of these together. I don't really do shots. But I'll definitely drink with y'all once we switch on over. But of course, when we do the main card, I think we're probably going to take like a quick little 10-minute intermission. And by then, we'll be joined by our good pal, Sven Manseau. So, when we come back from that, I'm happy to go and drink. As it's pretty clear when you watch these things, not afraid to drink on camera. Other hosts, I'm too scared. Not Ray. Not Raph. Not your boy Raph Esparza. He will drink on air or off. And I see a note here that says, I'll go with Phillips. All right, I see you. See your new rules. Song Yadong looking very focused. We'll see what he does. I'm hard-pressed to vote against Kyler Phillips just from the fact that he has fought out here in Cali. He's got the powerful hair. I don't want to root against him. We'll see what's going on here. Mark Smith with the officiating in the middle of the octagon. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and fight begins for me now. There we go. Touch of gloves to begin the fight. You are already seeing Kyler Phillips wasting no time trying to find his range with Song Yadong. Gets in a couple kicks here. Song avoids the kick on the second go round. Now Kyler Phillips trying to get in some good shots from within multiple ranges. Song Yadong still backing up just ever so slightly. Very loose posture, but staying very light on his feet. I see a note here from Strength Body Mind. Thank you so much. Glad to see you joining us. Watching us some UFC 259. Yep, seeing a little bit of bouncing. You see Yadong trying to get in a good uppercut there. Doesn't quite land with enough impact, but it is making Kyler Phillips still be very cautious on the way he is bouncing back and forth between his switching of the stance yet again. You will see at this moment, though, Yadong kind of letting his hands drop a little bit as to almost entice a little bit of a chase so that maybe he can counter off this. Nice high kick there by Kyler. Phillips does connect on the head a little bit, gets a nice spinning back kick, starts to charge in on Yadong, and now starts to unload from inside of the pocket. Beautifully done thus far. Yadong now starting to use that very loose stance of his, dropping it. I'm wondering if Phillips is starting to pick up part of that rhythm, because it does look like every 5 seconds or so. Nice cross there by Yadong, by the way. Now coming back in, Phillips charging ahead, pressing forward, but Yadong has some time to hold the center of the octagon. Gets caught up in that for a little bit. What is up, the J. Christopher? Good to see you joining us back again tonight. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you'll be joining us for the main deal later this evening over on the Grappling Hour properties on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch. Also on Periscope, but that also counts as Twitter. I guess just wherever you want to watch it. I don't really give a shit. Fernando Fee, good to see you. Seeing a lot of different tweets coming on over this way. Nice. Kick there by Yadong. They were talking a little bit on the broadcast about how Song is consistently moving forward, and that is true. But what's interesting in the reversal of how things are going is you are trying to see Kyler Phillips doing some solid repositioning work here. Periscope still exists. Periscope still exists, question mark. Yes, until the end of the month. Apparently, it will just transition more into Twitter Live. It's very confusing. All I know is I have multiple places where I can actually good exchange by the two of them. Nice takedown by Phillips. Yadong very quickly trying to get back up, almost initiating a sweep, manages to get Phillips into a little bit of a open guard, stiff arms the head as he can then technical stand up. And I see art means nothing. That is a very unfortunate Instagram, man. That's just a very bouty way of introducing yourself when you're in a room. I would like to introduce you to my friend. His name is Art Means Nothing. 50 seconds left to go. It feels like we've gotten a pretty good fight out of these two gents. I will tell you, though, I think that Islam and Drew Dober probably my early favorite to be the potential fight of the night. Nice. Nice response there by Yadong. But beautifully reversed by Phillips here. This is going super well for both fighters, but I would have to give the edge ever so slightly maybe to Phillips. Again, we've covered a little bias here because we've seen him, but good Lord, Phillips just able to return on so many of these. Yadong thought that he might be able to work a little bit better from inside. Now returns with a spinning back kick there. Does not do any major damage to Phillips, who starts to penetrate and comes in, and the referee gets in the middle of the two of them just at the opportune time as to say, I actually don't want to stop this. I kind of want to see this thing go on. So anyway, but yes, strength, body, mind. we've got some more fight coverage on Periscope for at the least the next month. So don't get rid of your Periscope just yet. Anyway, how y'all doing? Talk to me in your comment section. Let me know what you're feeling, you're thinking, you're doing, and much, much more. All right, let me see what I got here. And it says, damage is what matters. Yes, fact. Woo! Yeah, that's a good call on the Phillips kick. All right, they've just gotten done doing some replay action, which means we can now return the Strangle Squad feeling bad for Benavidez as well. So we're not the only ones here, kids. Feeling pretty good, to be honest, though. I feel you. All right, 4:45 left on round 2 clock for me. Phillips's kicks look very solid. And Bilal Muhammad saying the boys came to play tonight. And it says Yadong has a chin. Those are from the broadcast. And it does look like people are starting to feel a little bit 10-9 for Phillips, at least what they're showing. But Yadong's still in the fight. Nice switch of stance there by Kyler Phillips. He's kind of dancing around a little bit. Ooh, Yadong goes to engage, presses forward. Nothing too crazy there. They kind of take a moment to... Whoo! Look at these fucking exchanges between these two. Yeah, these guys are not afraid to go. Nice takedown there by Phillips. Manages to get Yadong over to the edge of the cage. Has one underhook. Yadong working very closely to try and get a little bit of breathing room, and they break it up, but not without one spinning back kick from Phillips. And it always looks like every time Phillips does one of those spinning back kicks, it's not like they get the most damage, but they do seem to shock Yadong just from the facial expressions each time. Like, oh my god, what the fuck was that? It doesn't look like it correlates with how much that actually hurts him. It just kind of is like, what the fuck? 3:17 on my clock. Huh. We'll see what happens within these next few minutes, but we are at the midway point of this fight. Both gentlemen kind of clinch, then all of a sudden break that apart. They both duck down to try and get any kind of movement to hit a punch, and they hit that Rocky, we're going to punch each other at the exact same time moment going on. I do like the idea. I don't know if you guys saw this week, but Proper 12 is gaining new majority shareholders, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects Conor McGregor's payout from them. But they're definitely still being utilized by the UFC, so makes you wonder how long they put that contract in for McGregor to have some kind of role, or at least feel some kind of residuals from that sponsorship money. What is up, Fifth Cube? Welcome to the show. We're watching us some UFC 259 prelims. Phillips looking super solid all the way through tonight. Very much appreciating it. Oof. Nicely done there. Ooh, Phillips clipped him very nicely as Yadong was lifting to go kick. Seems like now Phillips is starting to catch some of those kicks, come in with a few crosses of his own. Yeah, solid fight thus far, gents. Just looking at the repositioning consistently by Phillips. Now he's got Yadong maybe playing a little bit more of a chase game. Like, Song is definitely trying to get something going here, but Phillips gets an excellent takedown. Yadong working from guard work. This time Phillips has a little bit more information in terms of how to pass his guard. He's now in half guard. He can start raising that hand up a little bit more if he wants to, but I think he's going to like playing from inside of this half guard for a few minutes. if I'm guessing. And I am. Yeah, he's definitely doing that, but still, ooh, could have been a nice back take there. Instead, loses the position. Both gentlemen now standing back up. We have 40 seconds left to play in this first round. Very interesting. Telling first round from both of these gents. Nicely done. 30 seconds left to go. Yeah, now Yadong still chasing him down. Not really getting too much for his efforts on doing those. Eek. Though on that last exchange, a little bit better for Yadong. 10 seconds left to go. Round number 2. A very fun fight all around. Excellent. What is up, Gene Katz? Woo. Enjoying this fight. Hopefully you are as well. It says Matrix. Matrix indeed. Phillips looking really good in this fight. Doing some deep breathing exercises right now. Channeling his inner Jesus and Pantene Pro V powers. But good Lord. Strength mobility. Ariaga. Hello. Welcome to the show. We watching us a very solid fight. If you're just tuning in, I don't know if you are or aren't. In terms to the fights, this has been fantastic thus far in. I am enjoying Yadong versus Phillips. Both gentlemen coming to fight, giving us some great rounds. Why are we cutting to an ESPN commercial? That's not what we're doing. We're going to round number 3. Anthony Arnold, what's up, cousin? How you doing, fam? Love seeing y'all here. Just to remind you guys, at the 7 p.m. mark, when we do the main broadcast, we will mostly be on the Grappling Hour properties. So it'll be Grappling Hour YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, which is also Periscope, at Grappling Hour. And we will have our good friend Sven, who is in the comment section now, giving us his fight knowledge. And if you know anything about anything, Sven, is that he has excellent analysis and will be a great co-pilot on this show here tonight. So very excited to have him joining us. It has been far too long since he has stopped in, and I'm glad we're able to bring him on out to play tonight. Woo! Here we go. Yep. It's going to be a wild fucking ass third round. Phillips gets yet almost another takedown. Just kidding. A little preemptive on calling that one. But he definitely did teeter him just a little bit here. What is up, Mago, Stin, Ho? Don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but that's how I'm pronouncing it right now. Can't concentrate on that. Too good of a fight happening. Yadong coming in with some kicks. He might be a little tired here, and with good reason. Phillips still looking real calm and composed. Yadong does clip him with a right hand, but Phillips just eats it, returns with a right kick of his own. This is the stuff that when I did see Kyler Phillips fight here on the regional circuit in California, I was impressed by what he could do. I thought the guy had a lot of talent, so very excited to see him putting in a very good show here in the UFC tonight. And this has already been a very solid fight card. The early prelims were something to behold. I think they went 5 for 5 on finishes. No, they did go 5 for 5, but it were 6 fights altogether. What is up, GE Jiu-Jitsu? Welcome to the show. Hope you're having a good one. Watching us some UFC 259. You should be too. Eek. Well, kids, we may be heading ourselves on over to a decision on this one. What is up, Cindy Steele? Hopefully you're having a good day. Hope all is good out your way with the crew. Nice. Jeez, look at them just unload, dude. This shit would scare me so hard if you just get caught in one of those stand and bang moments. Literally just them unloading and saying like, all right, let's just see how this works. And then a quick sidestep, and it just makes me feel a little bit better because I go, man, They've done this a few times where heavy punches have been exchanged. Phillips now, though, he is getting chased a little bit more by Yadong this round, and I do have to give Yadong credit. The focus has been so much, especially us, we're guilty of this, commenting so much on Phillips's acumen within the first 2 rounds, but I think Yadong's actually put up a pretty decent fight on his own. I don't really want to dismiss what he's been doing here outright. What's up, Demas? Gnarly sound. Y'all are here for the tail. Ooh, nicely done, Yadong. You are here for the tail end of what has been a phenomenal beginning to the UFC 259 card. We still, on the main telecast, are going to have 3 championship bouts, plus some really exciting other fights, including friend of the show, Drew Dober, fighting against Islam Makhachev, and then Juan Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. And now, this is a very interesting reversal of position. Phillips gets to utilize his jiu-jitsu. There is potentially almost a more of an inside guard that could have happened there. I thought he had the right grips for that. Now getting one overhook, kind of loose there. Song Yadong hitting him with a few shots from inside of the guard. There's 42 seconds to waste here. Yeah, I think this is potentially going to be Phillips' fight. But it's kind of hard because this position doesn't necessarily look like it's going to get a finish, even though Yadong is coming in with some smothering techniques, which the rudest of all things to do. Not my favorite thing in the world, especially when how gross the gloves can be, but it's part of the game. Last few seconds here in round number 3. Gents are both trying to give you something, and it looks like Phillips was trying for an armbar, maybe now going for a knee bar. Could have been a little bit more solid. He could have passed that on over to the side for a heel hook. The 2 gents kind of take a moment to both celebrate. Kind of weird. They're both standing up to point to nebulous things, and Phillips looks like he wanted to do an early celebration dance. So that's what we got going on our side. Yes, appreciate you guys. We're going to take a quick break over at when they do the reveal of the fight winner, and then we're going to be right back for the broadcast. You can catch us at Grappling Hour on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, all those places at Grappling Hour. We're going to have a fun time tonight. We're going to talk all the fight stuff you want to talk, plus much more. So why would you ever go anywhere else? That's the place you want to be. We're the show you want to watch along with. It is going to be a fun time. Plus, I know that you guys are enjoying the fights. I'm getting the notes, getting the love, seeing a lot of y'all put together some really nice words and saying some really cool things. Jesus Christ, Andre Galvão still put up another promo code for Atos Online. This is so weird. I still can't believe that's the thing that Andre Galvão was pushing at the very end. Just imagine saying, like, I just really want to say thank you guys for allowing me to forgive Gordon Ryan. Now take 50% off Atos Online. Unanimous decision for Kyler Phillips. Accurately done there, in my opinion. He did pretty good here tonight, and I'm pretty sure the UFC is going to be excited to talk to that guy and give him the chance to maybe try and get over here tonight. I think that they've enjoyed what he's been doing thus far in. Well, let's see what they're going to do. If they're going to do a quick interview with him, we'll stick around for that. Otherwise, we're going to call it just for a few minutes. Give you guys some opportunities to go get some food. Go rejoin us at the break. Very much enjoying all that. What is up, Albert? Good fight there. Kyler Phillips looked real solid. Let me see what time I've got here. Oh, no, we've got one more fight. Just kidding. We're not taking a break. Fuck that. I totally forgot. The headliner of this is Dominick Cruz and Casey Kenny. We're not going anywhere yet. I need both those scraps. Absolutely, dude. Woo. I just like the way Phillips looked tonight, man. That dude getting paid in full, I hope. But it's going to be hard. I mean, if Islam is going to do the fight that we all think him and Drew Dober is capable of, could be dicey. What is up, Jamie Lynn? All right, we got Phillips there. What's up, Omade? And Phillips giving a shout out to his own fight nickname. Joe Rogan putting over the flow state by the Matrix. Weird. It says Islam is the man. Yeah, but we're rooting for Drew Dober, so don't get too high on that one tonight. What's up, Tuba Wookie? Okay. So he's saying it's his time. He's going to find his way to the belt. He's on the come up. And Joe Rogan has put over the improvements in his game, which I can see that. So that is good. And as we say, you know, look at him, dude. Getting his due as he's deserving, dude. He put together a really good fight here tonight. And it says, no, Islam will get him. We'll see, bro. It's going to be a tough fight for him. I know that for sure, but I'm rooting for Drew. You can root for Islam. That's fine. And Phillips is giving some props over to Taquinho Mendez. So he's basically saying every breath that he takes, he is trying to improve to get ready for that next big thing. I don't know where he's going with this whole point, but good for him. He's feeling it. Good on him. And he's given a message of somewhat positivity, though the delivery is a little mangled, but we'll give him points because the fight was really, really good. Just to fill you in on what you can expect from one Kyler Phillips going forward. I mean, this is a dude who I've seen get a win over Gabriel Silva back over last year, but before then I saw him over at CXF. He was on the losing side of a decision at the Rage in the Cage. I've also kept an eye on him. I mean, I saw him get a win over a friend of the show, George Garcia, at CXF 5, then CXF 4. Has a win over Tyler Afaro, another friend of the show. Like, it's crazy to see those people make their way into the UFC and do good things. So, very much appreciating what he's putting out there, and I'm appreciating what you guys are putting out there. Feel free to hit me with your questions, comments, concerns, hits, allegations. And AJ, very good news for you. I'm going to send out your stuff, I think, sometime later this week. So I packaged that up for you. Just keep a lookout for it. It was a little disarming because we sent out like a shipment recently. And to one of our friends, Mori Matsuik, who won one of our UFC pay-per-view things. And his shirt never made it to him. So now I'm super spooked. But it was at the time I think the U.S. Postal Service was having some issues. So someone out there has a Grappling Hour t-shirt. Don't know who. But in any event, looking forward to seeing you get your due. What's up, Blanca? That was really strange because I was like, yo, that's my fucking merch. Don't lose my merch. Lose some other shit. Like, lose all the Bed Bath & Beyond coupons that we always get. Losing my merch sucks. That's why I hate when the post office is like, do you want to get this insured? I go, I don't want to pay for it, but I want to make sure it gets there. Isn't that the job of the post office, though? Like, just, if I put this in there, it should go somewhere. All right, this one's tough because tonight we got Dominick Cruz, who's been fighting since the Crusades, and I have an appreciation for his movement. I like Dominick Cruz. He was dominant champion. He's smart as shit. Is he too smart for his own good? Is he too old now from doing this? These are questions we're going to have to figure out here tonight. Casey Kenny getting a huge opportunity. And it says, that's why Bed Bath & Beyond is broke. Insurance on all those coupons. Absolutely, dude. I always laugh my ass off when I see things like that. And I go, God damn it. Yes, Cruz coming off 2 losses. The first to Cejudo, the second to Cody Garbrandt. And, that TKO from Cejudo was like the first time we had really, really honestly seen Dominick Cruz get knocked out. So, love Cruz. He get hurt yet? There's still time for him to hurt himself walking on out to that cage. So, I guess we'll have to keep posted on that. Yes, too old. I don't know, man. I like Dom. I'd like to see him surprise us. The only thing that's really weird is we see a lot of people who have hate on Dom for being the smart guy on the commentary. All the rest of the guys look like they cheat off their homework who are fighters. But Dominic looks like he just knows the stuff, and then people go, I don't like him. And I go, why? They go, because he sounds like a douchebag. And I was like, they all sound like douchebags. All of them. What is up, Fernando? Kickboxing. Good to see you. Hopefully you're having a great night. We got a hell of a main event, dude. I'm super stoked for this main event tonight. I'm super stoked for the card in general. 5 powerhouse cards, 3 championship bouts. Our friend Drew Dober, Islam Makhachev, Thiago Santos, Alexander Rakic. Ugh. I love his input, and he knows he's the smartest guy in the room. Yeah, and that's the issue, is I think sometimes when people see someone know that they're smart, they're like, fuck that guy. It happens. But it is what it is. We're getting close here, kids, to the time when we see all of the fights do their thing. Are you telling me that my AirPods weren't working this whole time and now they're starting to work? Because that's going to piss me off. No, don't move it to the iPhone. God damn it. My iPhone does not want them. I swear to God, sometimes. I always like when you see something in Iron Man and the technology always works. But somehow when I need it to fucking just make with the go on this. He says he was rude at one of the events to some staff. Probably. I don't expect every person to always be the nicest person in the world. And I'm pretty sure he could also be a giant douchebag. It's hard. I always think that sometimes you meet people with a sliver of a moment and you don't really get a full composite of the person. But yeah, I could see that. What's up, Drain Daddy? I like this. I'm back, boys. Love it. He does not have a great tattoo, though, on his back. He's one of those people that if you could Etch-a-Sketch, shake off one of their tattoos, that would be it. Because I look at it and I think, dude, you don't have any other tattoos. You don't need that shit. You're saying you hope that Cruz puts on a good show? I do too, man. I'd like to see him do well here tonight. I don't know, man. I also am speaking as somebody who has 0 tattoos, so I don't know that I really get a say in the situation, but it looks like the old WCW Nitro logo for the later years. So when I see shit like that, I go, dude. Speaking of which, there's a wrestler by the name of Cody Rhodes who got like an America tattoo, but it's like really bad. But he got it on his neck, so there's no way to see him without seeing that. And you go, we don't hate America at all, but like that just looks bad. Like that looks like a mistake that you really do have to live with. You know when people say that it looks like it's going to be bad, you have to live with that? They mean that one, not the cool ones. However, he was nice to me. Well, that's good. That makes me feel a little bit better. I would like to hope in the future, if people do have some notoriety with me, that they would at least say I was nice to them. But I will say this. There is usually a pretty good sign if somebody ever says that I'm mean to them, that they're a dick. Just saying. Generally pretty nice to people. But the rare people who are like, Ref's a dick, I've had people in the past go, what'd you do? Doesn't just go out of his way to be mean to people. And it says, I have a terrible back tattoo. I can relate to Dom's tat. Drain Daddy, prove it. Just gotta say, you can't tell me you have a bad back tattoo without showing us. It's like Chekhov's gun. You say there's a gun, it better be in the fucking movie. That's it. Alright, here we go. Not Gary Tonin. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Jason Herzog is the referee for this one, in case you're wondering. Oh, to me. Yeah, I mean, Gary's an idiot, so I won't go any further on that one. Takedown attempt by Dominick Cruz, who was telegraphing it so hard that I think people in the 1980s saw it was a possibility. Kenny is basically sprawling on him, trying to weigh him down. Cruz is kind of making his way back up, but he is hunched over ever so slightly. Now, Cruz bouncing back off the cage. It'll be interesting to see what Cruz's footwork looks like, because that has always been the thing that people have complimented him for. Of course, as you know, as you get older, it is hard to keep that footwork and that pace up. People start to figure it out. They know your game. And I think Kenny was even alluding to the fact that, like, yeah, Dominick Cruz was somebody that you would watch and be in awe of, but that was a long time ago. So, hard to say. Keeping our eyes on the action right now. Casey Kenny pressing forward. Cruz for a split second just kind of ducks out of it, catches a kick, comes with his own, doesn't really connect on either of those attempts. And already interesting start to this dance thus far in. Nice kick to the front of the face there by Cruz. Woo! Too old. Maybe. I mean, the other thing that you have to remember at some point, sometimes old people do win. And it is fascinating when they do put up those reminders that Khabib retired at 31 when Anderson Silva started in the UFC at age 32. And just to think of the career that Anderson Silva had after the age of 32, it's impressive, man. Also goes to show you what the fuck that Khabib would have done if he decided to just stick it out and continue fighting. But, you know, eras are meant to be over. That's why they're called eras. Almost looked like a slip there by Kenny as he was trying to work on his leg strikes from that opportunity. And let me see here. Interesting notes all the way. And it says, new DraftKings clock is super dope. Why are they just putting in propaganda at this point on the tweets? That's weird as fuck. I like that the UFC is talking like, oh man, look at what Twitter's saying. They're saying this thing is amazing. Yeah, people, they like it. Just anybody who tweets nice things about it, put them on the show. There's only 4 of them. It says Khabib will be back by 2023. Dude is a warrior. He'll get the itch when the right challenge is there. We'll see. I wouldn't close the door to it altogether. Ugh. Cruz. The head movement as he's almost charging in and striking. What is up, Sergi? Hope you're having a good one. We're watching some prelims, and it says it's like the WWE bragging that they're trending. That's true. I bet you they pay a pretty good penny, though, to make that trend. And I'm okay with that, because I don't dislike the fact that when I come home, I see hashtags that are trending right now, WWE, and I go, good. Alright, so far so good for Cruz. I know we're speaking a little early and it might be out of turn, but so far so good. He is cutting a few angles here that look pretty solid. MMA fighting, giving some compliments to Cruz thus far in. I don't think that we're going to see too much of Cruz being able to get the takedowns as we normally would. A low jab there. Good kick returned by Kenny. Ooh, yeah, I think that Dom is really just trying to point his way on the face here. I can only hear bits and pieces of what DC is saying, but it is vaguely not interesting. So now you're getting to the point where Kenny started to come in a little bit into form. Kenny was going straight down the middle, connects to the midsection. Cruz evading, moving out of the range. There was a good knee there. It looked like Kenny was almost timing Cruz to come in. didn't really have a full impact, but it is showing that Kenny is now trying to download part of the movement. And look at these leg kicks by Kenny. I think that's actually a very solid approach from him. That is going to be one of the things that'll be prominent to see how Kenny keeps that up all the way through. What is up, Jits Cruz? What is up, B Cruz? All the cruises are showing up right now. Last 10 seconds of round number 1. Woo! Cruz cannot get that takedown going thus far. And that's the end of round number 1. Good round, good round. Good round indeed. How'd you guys score that one? Would love to hear it without the bias of the UFC. Oh, B Cruz, thanks for joining us. I hope you're having a good day. We're off to a pretty good start for the fights, gents. I'm feeling it. Y'all feeling it. We're all getting together here and just, we're having a good time. That's what we're doing. Woo! Seeing a lot of my friends give some respects. Let me see. Oh, God. I see a note here from Adam Smith that says Cruz 10-9. I can get behind that, and Cruz 10-9. I would agree with those. I'm a little worried about the little Wormwood gang. We don't have, like, you know what I mean? Like, we can't do a Wormwood side because that's West Side. So, either way. Here we go. Round number dose brought to you by Modelo. Not sponsoring this podcast, but I'll deal with it. Here we go. Round number 2, start. I got 4:55 on my clock. Kenny coming in very aggressive to begin with. And if you look, Cruz's stagger step is always very interesting to watch because it's almost like he tries to get them to just take the bait on where his movement theoretically is going to go. Beautiful leg kick there by one Casey Kenny. It kind of takes the base out of Cruz for just a split second. Kenny allows him to get right back up. Now the two of them starting to charge in. Already a better round for Kenny. And you have to know that his corner is telling him leg kicks, leg kicks, leg kicks. Almost a takedown there by Cruz, but he does charge in. He can't really get a good piece of the leg to continue the takedown on. 4:12 left to go, and I think now Rogan is talking about the element of watching tape on an opponent. But if you're also looking at somebody like Dominick Cruz who's been fighting since the Stone Age, you also have to actually get Betamax tape just to see what that dude has been up to for the past decade and a half that he's been doing. Another leg kick by Kenny, and it is starting to pay off a little bit more in this round. You wonder if those leg kicks in that first round were starting to slow down Cruz, but the output is much heavier and much more impressive by Kenny here. Looks like DC is now saying that Dom really hasn't checked any of these kicks. Now Dom returning with a kick of his own. He tries to set it up, and there's a little bit of a spring in his step as he's now kind of bouncing in between those moments. I think they are starting to take a little bit of the wear on one Dominick Cruz, because you could see before he was fighting it off with just his regular movement, but there's like an extra bounce that he's adding to that footwork that he normally does. And now you might also see Casey Kenny figuring out part of the algorithm here. I think he's figured out the pattern by Dominick Cruz that he goes into when he starts to evade, where he starts moving the head around and almost hits like a basic 4 pattern window. Yep. 2:30, so we're about to hit the midway mark of this entire fight. And Casey Kenny looking much better all the way through this round. This one might be tight here, kids. All right. Good hit to the midsection there by Cruz. What is up, Train BJJ, joining us? Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Now, there's a lot of yelling in the octagon from the coaches. Oof. Huh. Can't tell if Kenny hurt part of his own hand punching Cruz's back, but I do think those leg kicks are starting to take their toll on Cruz. And this has been the whole thing. Everybody's been wanting to talk about calf kicks and what they do. Woo! Cruz ducked down to try and go for a jab to the body, but instead ends up with a nice cross to the face, compliments of Casey Kenny. Now, this is where Cruz is excelling. When Cruz is able to change the angles very quickly, he doesn't need to come in for that shot, even if it's fake. Every time you're seeing Cruz switch the angles on Kenny, he does much, much better. Interesting fight. What's up, 10P MA 4L? You kids with your 10th planet for lifeness. Significant strikes, though, have been at the advantage. It was actually a statistical tie in that first round between the two. And then the second one, Cruz is ahead by 2 significant strikes. Which is fascinating because now Cruz is finding a little bit more of that aggressiveness that he had in that first round. There's still 40 seconds to go. That's a very interesting statistic on the significant strikes because you would almost get the impression that Kenny's had better strikes the second round than Cruz. MMA Fighting is calling this vintage Cruz. Kenny now getting stuffed with a few of his high kicks, but he's finding success in the midsection. Ooh, nice. There is a front headlock here by Kenny that's just trying to weigh down Cruz, who's fighting 2-on-1 on this, not even guillotine. They end the second round. Cruz sucking up a lot of wind, making look at the camera as if to say, like, please don't film me now. I see a note that says 10-9 Kenny. Where do y'all feel on that one? That one's tougher to really rank. So I don't know that I have necessarily enough for down on that one. And it says, apparently Tim Elliott explains why he's a scary man coming off his win over Jordan Espinoza. Sure. And it says, the real Tommy Tom. That sounds like an 80s synth band name, so I'm into it. Good for you, sir. About to get our way into the third and final round. Very excited. But that's what we got to do, kids. We're almost to that nice part of the main event, a.k.a. the main card. It's going to have 3 championship fights, 3 5-rounders. So I wonder how much time they're going to spend fucking wasting time up at the top of the broadcast. Cruz already starting with some kicks, and I think this is an actual smart defensive kind of tactic that keeps Kenny from just charging in like he did in that first round, take control. I'm sorry, the second round, which I think was an impressive strategy. He just put the pace. Almost gets a single leg there, and by almost I mean he at least got closer than he has been in the past. Cruz really stuck on making sure that he can show some wrestling dominance. There is a guillotine attempt, so I think what we're going to see here, Kenny has a strong grip. The only problem is Cruz is already out of the line of being affected, so he can pretty much stay here. You can always turn this into a... Oh no, he cannot let him guard back in here. He's going to need to make sure he burns him out here, because if he's able to put him back into a full guard, that grip will be valid. That's tough to do at that point. When Cruz was north of that leg, he gets put in that place where you can almost start to hit a Von Flue choke, but Kenny being very smart about how he is positioning himself in this. This is one of those deceptive areas where people might think it's a better submission than it really is. The only thing that's making it more pro one Casey Kenny is the fact that he's brought his knee in very closely. Now Cruz trying to use that as an opportunity to get some punches in, as if to say, I bet you I can loosen this grip by utilizing the cage and forcing him to react more off of it. And yes, that's exactly what it does. Kenny might be very scrappy in this position, and he stands right back up with no avail. Interesting. 3 minutes are left in this third and final round. So that is what we got going on. Well, I like that DC is maybe on a delay from the commentary that we have on this broadcast as well. He's like, I think he's slowing down. I was like, you think? Yeah. I know they're bringing up the significant strikes, but at that point, most of those significant strikes were in that weird, almost Von Flute choke element. Let me see here. Booker T taking Stylebender tonight via Twitter. Good for Booker. Booker, not just a one-time champion, by the way. A five-time champ. The illustrious Booker T. Good for him, dude. Woo! Kenny getting in some good socks, though, on one. Dominick Cruz's face. Dominick really has to be more evasive here. He is getting into a scrap, and this is turning into a pretty good fight in itself. Man, Cruz really wants that takedown. He is positioned for it so many times, and he just cannot get the shot in, and his face is getting marked up. This might be very tough for the judges, especially if it's going to come down to this third round. Yeah, we mentioned this a couple times before. Every time I've seen Cruz change the angles, he's done so much better. But when he starts to stand and do like his four corners, it just isn't quite the same, and he gets caught so much more in those moments. I love the Cruz that can sidestep out of this. Woo, and then just pushes him away as if to be like, dude, fucking get away from me. I don't want to fucking fight you anymore. I also wonder if Dominick Cruz is the type of guy who just goes, I would kind of rather do my commentary gig. And yes, Cruz does finally get one takedown. And if we're being honest, it might be at the most opportune time. This might just be the takedown that could win the fight. And now Cruz has to be very careful about Kenny's submission game. Cruz is behind on the significant strikes in this round, even though he was tied in the first. He leads in the second on strikes. And then in the third, he now is just in the guard trying to get more hits. And props to Kenny for trying to get some half guard movement. But I think Cruz might actually win this fight. Good for him. Exhausted. Gets back up. Everybody's showing that they won this fight. Though if I'm being honest, Dominick Cruz putting up two fingers makes it seem like he took second place in a two-man race. So maybe stick with the number ones. That's probably a better way to do it. What is up, Salty J? Oh, DraftKings. We got asked earlier this week where people should go bet, and I was like, we don't get any money from that, so I really don't care where you go to bet. But if we ever do, I'll be very clear as to where you should. All right. Looks like they're about to make a decision here. It's coming up. Salty J saying, yo, what's up, man? Not much. We're just watching some fights, and this has been a spectacular fight card all the way through, my friend. I really haven't seen a fight I haven't liked. And I know those are damning words, but we do have some fights to look forward to, especially in the sense 3 main card fights that are our championship bouts. Stylebender, Jan, that's going to be fun. Sterling, Peter Yan, going to be fun. And then, of course, Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson. Dig it. Ben Folks, though, it says, good close fight. I still give it to Cruz. He can do Dom Cruz stuff. It's just not quite as quick and dynamic as it used to be. Absolutely. Who of us is as quick or as dynamic as we used to be? It says, yes, sir, this card has been nonstop great. Can't wait for Santos versus Rakic. And that's the whole thing. You talk about that leading off the card, but then don't forget the fact that Islam and Drew Dober is the fight in between. Uh-oh. We're at a split. Should be Dom. Yeah. Listen, Casey Kenny, I get the disappointment. It happens. You got to give it to Cruz. And especially 29-27, though. I hope that was 28-27. Let me look at that again. Oh, 30-27. Okay, I think they're just going off significant strikes at that point. But yeah, 28-29, 29-28, and 30-27. Sure. Oh, God. They're like, that is Dominick Cruz's first win in 100 years. Or back at UFC 199. Dominick Cruz going over to Dana White Lane, making sure to get fist pounds from everybody there. So now he has to come back all the way over to give himself a little interview with Joe Rogan, who's one of his normal commentary cronies. So this will be interesting to see. But yes, they're going to go to those significant strikes, and they're probably going to point out the fact that Casey Kenny had more significant strikes in round number 3. Cruz was more successful on the takedown, though. And I don't know. That's going to be dicey. It's interesting. So now Joe's asking him, how's it feel? And Dom is basically saying what you'd think he would say, which is, it's closer than I wanted it to be, bro. Oh. They're already putting up the trademark logo information, which means the second they're done with this interview, they will cut it off. And Dominick seems very tired in this interview. Understandably so. What is up, Val? And Joe Rogan's asking him, what's coming up next for you? So he's saying a charity fight and take photos with Lamborghinis. What's up, Jits, bitch? And he says, him and Hans. He keeps saying charity. And he says they could put on a good show. And he says they've been forcing him to comment on his photos and hold his contracts hostage. Is he talking about Dana? All right, well, that was funny to him and Joe, so good for them. It says, sup, dude, charity fight. That didn't make any sense to us, but who gives a fuck? Anyway, here's some good news, guys. What we're going to do, we're going to take a momentary break, and then we're going to live the dream all over again, which means we are going to do a live broadcast. We're going to have our friend Sven Manseau joining us for the main fights. So take a few minutes, come back in about 9-10 or so, and then check us out at Grappling Hour on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, all of those places. We are broadcasting for the rest of the night for the main card action. I like that he said on his ball camp. Hey, everybody, no old man getting hit by football. That's what we got. That's the Hansball, man. I don't really have that good of an impression on that one. Other people are in my wheelhouse. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. We'll be back with Sven Manseau. We're going to do the full UFC card. We will not be on Instagram, so go join us on the YouTube, the Facebook, all of those places. We want to see you guys. And if you want some company here, just join us at Grappling Hour. It's pretty easy to find. If you can't find it, I don't want to say you're dumb, but you might call yourself dumb, I guess is what I'm saying. Or you should. I don't know. That's what I got for you guys. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. Much love. We have a monster card. Don't miss it. Don't not come. Don't be dumb. Jits pins. You're fucking saying what's up now? I just literally did the I'm leaving bit. I'm leaving. And charity bout between Hans Molkamp from Monster Energy. What the fuck? All right, that doesn't make any sense. We're getting out of here. Love y'all. See you in a bit. Come find us at Grappling Hour, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Periscope.